Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast. If this is your first time here, know that the views and opinions expressed by the Black Men Think podcast are those of the Black Men Think podcast and not the individual members. With that being said, we're about to be unapologetically, undeniably black. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Black Man Think podcast.
Hey, it feels good to be back.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. Feels good to be back. So, we are fresh off of Juneteenth
Indeed. Salute.
and fresh off of Father's Day.
What a weekend.
What a weekend. So, I felt what better way than to dive in and have a conversation surrounding both of those things, right? I am last name good, aka JD. I'm in the middle, so it's weird. We'll go to the left, then make our way around. So to my left, we got the homie.
T Black, Tori Martin, just here checking in with Pete.
Mm-hmm.
It's your boy Mo, Motown, Marlon. Y'all know me. What's good? How we doing?
We here. We here. Shout out to Corey. He probably on a date. So.
Wisby. hey, real quick though. Speaking of Father's Day,
Yeah.
shout out to Ace.
Shout out to Ace, man.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to our brother Ace.
Ace and Naja.
Yeah. They welcome a beautiful baby boy into the world. Number three. So shout out to them 3 boys, bro. Like that's
Hell's about to be all the way up.
turned up. I just want to give Naja a hug, boy, because I know like
Naja, you the real MVP.
Yeah, you're queen. Oh,
Definitely.
wait, so he came to the 3 Club and up.
He did. Correct.
it's y'all.
Hey, you
No.
on the way?
Don't put that on me or my wife. You feel me? Like, no, we are good. We two and done.
Oh man.
You know, unless it's in the Lord's will. If it's in His will, He need to will some other things our way because we weren't prepared for
Indeed.
that.
Hey, Doc, famous last words is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Because he will make a way.
Oh,
out of no way.
He'll make a way out of no way, but Lord knows, right now I don't need no ways. I'm good over here. But
About 3 hit different.
3 hit different.
Listen,
Oh my God.
it was the breaking point, bro.
It is. You become outnumbered. It really hits different. 2 was different than 3. I just
I can't even put it into words. 3 changed everything.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't. It took a minute,
yeah.
but we made it.
I
That's
can
all
only
say.
I can
We
only
made it.
imagine, bro. The one thing that I hear people say about having 3 is like really just finding the child care because nobody wants to keep 3. They'll keep 2 all day long. Nobody wants 3 at a time. It's like very difficult to get someone on board to say like, yeah, I'll watch all 3. Y'all go out for a date. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I hear. I don't know, but
No, that's facts.
That's facts.
And that's family we talking about. Parents are like, no, I'm good. How many days y'all? That ain't gonna work.
and we like to travel, so that's the thing. Like, well, us as a collective, we all like to travel. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's different.
But hey, they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. So, we'll dive into we'll go in order, right? So it was Father's Day.
Yeah.
Let's go Father's Day first. So happy Father's Day to y'all.
Happy Father's
You
Day,
know,
bro.
For y'all, I mean, I know y'all all heard it. You know, we definitely say it in the group chat. But for the fathers that's listening, and you know, you may have a unique situation where you wasn't loved upon for whatever reason. We don't have to get into that. Happy Father's Day to you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
brothers.
Yeah, we know the circumstances are different for different people. But I want to go there, man. Like just talking about, I saw a stat. And I don't know if this is a real stat. A comedian was saying, there was a joke from a comedian.
Saw that.
And I want to know, shout out to Ali Sadiq, and y'all check out his specials. He is a hilarious comedian.
I haven't seen this.
Domino Effect 1, watch Domino Effect 1, then watch Domino Effect Part 2. Change your life. It's just his perspective on life and like the things that he tells jokes around like real life scenarios, but like great comedian. They both on YouTube. Dog. Just spend a couple of hours and watch both of them. Trust me.
do that.
But he had this joke where he was like, the 2 most celebrated holidays in the world: Christmas number 1,
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day number 2. And I forgot what he said, but guess where Father's Day land on that list? At like 15.
20.
Don't make no sense.
Right? What he said, 20?
20.
20. So he was like, bro, think about it. He was like, I don't know 18 of the holidays.
Yo, what's so crazy is even when you said that, it didn't even register. Like, he's right. Like,
18 other holidays. And so he was like, think about it. He was like, bro, Arbor Day is ranked higher.
wait a minute,
It was like, what is Arbor Day? Like, I don't even know what that celebrate.
bruh.
And it got me to thinking, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I know we're in the anomaly. Our wives, like, look out for us for Father's Day.
Yeah.
But it got me to thinking, like, man, what is your ideal Father's Day? Like, I'm talking about ideal, where nothing matters. Like, monetarily, it doesn't matter. You ain't gonna worry about hurting your wife's feelings. It ain't gonna matter. Like, what is your ideal Father's Day? What does that look like? And what would you like for it to be? Let's get into it now. Marlon, you looking like that, so we'll let you go first.
I was sitting here trying to be as creative as I could in my brain. Like, huh? Well, ideal.
An issue now. Remember that.
Now, we ain't gonna create
Yeah.
no issues on this podcast.
Yeah.
But
Money
I will
is,
say, I don't know how to answer that yet. I'm gonna be honest with you. But
that's called wisdom.
I don't know how to answer that. However, I'm gonna share my experience this Father's Day.
Okay.
Since we're fresh off of it, and it's an experience that I've never had, bro. I took a day trip.
Nice.
I took a day trip
Don't forget by yourself.
Yeah, gotta add that.
by myself.
Oh, that
Meaning
might-
I
that might-
boarded a plane that AM. I didn't get back to the A until 11:50 p.m.
Yeah, that's a day.
That's a day.
and I went to Miami.
That's a day.
That's a day.
And I had a great time. Like just me walking the beach, walking ocean, Washington, Collins, just being me.
Yeah.
And just in a different city, like. But it was the weirdest experience from the standpoint of like, I just pulled up today and I'm about to pull out. Like,
Yeah.
So it was really cool, man. And granted, I think I need that experience again.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it was dope. You know, next go round we need to make it a guys trip though.
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say. I think mine would be.
Tori, move that mic a little bit in front of you.
Okay, my bad. That good.
Yeah.
So I was to say, I think mine would be a trip, probably like a good weekend trip, like a Thursday.
Yeah.
Through that Sunday.
Yeah. Thursday.
You gotta make that clear.
sure I
make
The extended week.
Yeah, I like
with
that.
The fellas on a trip somewhere. It could be
Yeah.
a beach. It could be a cabin. I mean, I think it just be whatever the common theme for everybody is.
You know something? Hold on. He got me thinking. I mean, we can do a boat.
Boat, bro.
With a yacht.
we can. Yachty.
I like the idea, but to expound on that, I really think that would be a dope Father's Day, like a collaborative, meaning that we got to all work in cahoots together to say like, hey, Father's Day weekend, guys trip,
Yeah.
2 or 3 days. Like we can keep it small.
Wow.
Keep it small because if you go too big, it's like you're gonna have like reservations. Like, no, like Tori said, like a Thursday, Friday, come back Saturday, make it feel like because
So
you
they
still,
can still follow day with the kids. Right. They still gonna want you to do that.
True.
yeah. So before we can lead up
Lead in.
So like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we out.
Mind you, this is likely going to fall on Juneteenth every year.
Probably.
Every Juneteenth weekend, so it's an extended weekend. None of us need to go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Before you answer, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out here, fellas, because I know we're all of our thinkers right now are listening to this, and everybody's mind is percolating. You see it, you feel it. You like, oh man, I'm going to figure this thing out. Just know, if we take a guys trip, just be prepared when Mother's Day comes back around, fellas.
Oh,
I'm just saying, there's
So-
going to be give and take in this situation.
give and take. So I the reason why I say a trip because for the last 3, maybe 4 years, Mother's Day for my wife is like in a hotel by herself. Like she getting 2 to 3 days of like. I mean, now granted, it's usually it's not usually. It's in the city, but it's like uninterrupted time. So like, I won't hit her up, and sometimes she'll hit up and just like check in or ask how the kids doing or whatever. But it is intentional time for her to like be herself by herself.
Right.
And so I think we've been doing that for like the past 3 or 4 years, and like a couple of days, bro. And it's she usually do like Mother's Day with the family, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That works for her because she works on the weekends.
Right.
So that's usually how we run it. You know what I'm saying? So she'll get her 3 days. Boom. So I'm like, I'm already in. I don't know about y'all. I'm like,
I done added these days.
yeah,
up.
this already here. So
Yeah.
I now, so if to just answer your question, what my ideal, I think I need uninterrupted time, and so why not add that on the trip?
Yep.
I think I need that because like this year for Father's Day, I didn't really have plan. Father's Day I'm still kind of, it's kind of weird for me, just like with my dad passing. So wife asked what I wanted to do, and I was kind of like, I don't really have no plans or whatever. And then she just suggested, oh, you want to go to the Braves game? I was like, cool. I'm a avid Braves fan, so that was always cool. And we went to the Braves game, and all of us had cool seats, had a good time. But it was just like, I had a great time at the game. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But it was just like, the kids were still just like, It was just like, for me, I enjoyed the Braves game, so I like to, I'm in it. And you know what I'm saying? But it was just like still, I got to. Still daddy. Like, okay, well, make sure you okay. Like, make sure, I'm still in that mode. And so while I thoroughly enjoyed myself, I think that guy's trip is like, we might have to push for that, bro. Like,
to your point, even on this trip, granted, it was a new experience. It was a situation that, kind of came about. Honestly, it was super cost effective. Honestly, had a free flight that I was able to use from a job perk, which is pretty cool. And it was one of those things that was like, my wife was like, you get a break on Father's Day. So shout out to my wife because she actually suggested it. I wasn't even thinking along those lines. She was like, find somewhere to fly. I was like, dang, you smart. But I will say it was weird to the extent that I was not with my children that day. Mm-hmm. So on one end, I was appreciating the time to myself. That's kind of been our thing the last few years. To your point, like she's done her days. Sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a few days somewhere at a staycation type of thing. And that's kind of been our trade-off, and it works. That's the break that you need. You need to step away from the responsibility.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie, like I was missing my family. I was like, it's Father's Day. Like I'm not, as a father, I'm not even around my kids.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I took it, and it was, I took it for what it was. I enjoyed it, but it was almost like there's no way to get both.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know how to figure that out.
I think that lead in is better. Like, you get the break, and then on Father's Day, like, I'm with the fam.
You fresh too.
Yeah, and you fresh, like, oh man, I miss y'all.
Right.
So now let's like really, have a nice dinner or something. Do something Father's Day. I think I like the lead in, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and put that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there tomorrow, like on the wake up. Thanks. Like, hey, you know what? Next year, me and the fellas think about like let's try to do a guys trip. Yeah. And I think we can be somewhere like how you did in Miami. That's like an hour and a half flight.
Right.
Somewhere where it ain't gonna really require. Well, we don't have to get too out of hand, and I think as time progresses, we can progress. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Better than me. I'm saying let's just jump on out there. Stop putting your toe in the water, man. Let's just do it. You're always up for it.
Yeah. But I love that idea though. I really do love that idea. I think that's
So is that your ideal?
Yeah, I think that's my. I mean, man, dude, I love traveling, man. So any excuse to travel, I'm always with it. But in addition to travel, I think I just need that. I need that lack of responsibility, dude. Like I just think about somebody. I think I was doing a podcast, and they asked me like, "Yo, what's the one thing you miss about being single?" And I was like, it ain't a lot that I miss about being single. It's just really more so the responsibility and accountability. Mm-hmm. Like, so when when I was single, I ain't had to, only person I was accountable for was like for me. Right. And like being married, I'm accountable for my wife, so to speak, but it just like, once you have kids, bro, and every move you make, you are considering your kids. Mm-hmm. That becomes like taxing. Yeah. Where it's just like anything you do, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about future things like, yo, I want to go and do something for this or that. And I was like, man, hold on. That ain't smart. It's just that part. And it's like that feeling of just like how you said, like, man, I was just in Miami, just like roaming, being me.
Just walking. Bro.
And I'm like, bro, I don't think I've been like just being me in a long time, bro. Like, I mean, I get it when I'm playing golf. That's like probably where I don't have to think about nothing. But like that, just like, bro, I don't even know what that feels like anymore. I don't even know what that is.
I agree with you on that because even though I was working out of town, I was working out of town, and so I had to tell my wife like it's like I'm not just up there for fun. We working, So and then to have to come back and then just jump right into the daddy mode. For me it was just almost to the fact that, like I felt I was just working 7 days a week. Time off because once I cut off that, fly home, I'm in daddy mode. Time I get off the plane until the time I jump back on the plane. And so I think to your point, it's just that really being able to not have to think and just be able to just be.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
that's what it is.
Not having to think.
The fact that in daddy mode, you're always on.
Yeah,
and you're not just on as a daddy. You're on as a boss, a leader. The professional side of things is always on. You come home, you're on as a father. Once the kids go to sleep, you're on as a husband. It's endless. And I think what I'm honestly hearing a lot of people talk about now is on these holidays that highlight parents, Mother's Day, Father's Day. We just want to break. We want to break from our brain having to think for everybody else. Make decisions for everybody, be in the mix of everything. And honestly, let me take it a different direction here. That's honestly kind of sad. If you think about it.
Yeah.
These are days that are meant to commemorate the sacrifice that you put in, but also a day for your family to appreciate you, be with you, and have that quality moment. And most of us want to escape.
Yeah, no, that's real.
So
that's real.
What it boils down to is the context of what the rest of life is always looking like. It's an endless cycle, an endless pace, which lets us know that the balance is missing in the normal day.
Yeah.
But it's a couple of things to that, though, that you have to also look deeper into. One is that, even though it is a day to celebrate us, it's more of a marketing commercialized day, right?
That's
a
factor.
The true intent, of celebrating, which, you should be doing every day of the year, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the other component of it is that it has to do, I hate to say that everything goes back to work, but it has to do with burnout and fatigue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I was watching the news, I think it was yesterday on Juneteenth, where they was talking about how Americans work on the average 40 more days than the nearest country.
That is insane.
That is so crazy, bro.
Than the nearest.
The nearest.
I was just like, wait.
It's a hustle and bustle, bro.
Yeah.
I was sharing with Trina today, like I read this article where it said Finland is the happiest country in the world. And the other top, like within 5 of the 10 top countries, happiest countries, are Norwegian. So you got, Finland, Scotland, Norway, Switzerland. These are all like the top 10. And I was like, and then I looked at the list. Like, now the U.S. is 15, which I get it, because our happiness is in what we make for the most part. In America, you can make the most money for, not just America, but you can make it in America. We already know that. The bottom, it was like Afghanistan and a lot of Middle Eastern and
Korea probably is in there
somewhere in there. It was mainly like some African and Middle Eastern countries.
Right. But like I said, I was just thinking, it's the living to work versus the work to live mindset. The connotation, the living to work is more so that's what you're doing. So that places more emphasis on you working as opposed to you living. So I think that's really that one of the biggest factors that lead to that mindset more about, we want to disconnect because you're living to work as opposed to working to live. Right?
It's really crazy, man. Spending more time at work with coworkers than you are with your family. You know, but I mean, these are the things that honestly lead to a sense of like not being fulfilled. It really is those moments with the people that you love that give you that sense of fulfillment. But honestly, we live in a culture that robs that from us.
Yep.
In some degrees.
Yeah, bro. Like, that's an alarming stat. Hearing you say that, 40 more days. Like, I mean, bro, we got to keep, that's a whole month and a half, basically, of work.
Yeah.
Then the next, that's crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
Because, I mean, for one, I know we don't believe in taking a lot of vacation.
No.
You know, you have people who will literally take their work on vacation. I've definitely done it before. Don't know why I did it, but, you know, trying to set those boundaries. But it's just like, you know, you can have 2-3 weeks of vacation and you like saving it. And I'm like, saving it for what?
For what?
Well, so I can't say because I have been one of those people. You usually, in my mindset, is saving it to go to that next job, right? Because for instance, you know, when I leave one job, I want to build in that
They pay out
cushion,
vacation.
right? Until
That's true.
that next job. So I can get that. But still to the fact that it still goes back to that mindset of living to work though.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
That's really what it boils down to regardless of how you look at it. So
Yeah. I mean, I think we have to get into the mindset of like, I mean, we can keep it a buck, bro. Like, I don't care what company you work for, how good of a company it is. More than likely, you're replaceable. Even if you're the best.
Facts.
Even if you're the best, bro. Like, companies nowadays don't care if you are the best.
Yep.
They care about their bottom line. And if their bottom line means that I can fire you and pay the next person $30,000 less,
yeah.
100%.
we'll train up to get to the level that you were at. We'll train up to that.
Yep.
Like, we don't, like, yo, we can't replace Tory, no, but we, all right, Tory, like, all right, you making too much money, bro. Like, all right, get out of here. Let's go and get somebody else who we can cultivate this person. We can make this person feel great because he's making the extra 30.
Right.
So he's getting a $30,000 raise. So he's looking at it like, shoot, bro, this is life. This is a win. I just came up, not realizing that no, you took like a 30 pay cut because the next guy was making, 30 more than you. But they don't, but we get so caught up in like, no, man, the job love me, the job love me, the job. I was like, no, the job don't love you, bro. They love the work you're doing at the moment.
As soon as you pivot, as soon as you say, hey, I've got something else, guess what? They're thinking about the next thing too.
Next thing.
Yeah. Literally living through that situation in the past few weeks. And it's just interesting to watch the shift happen. You know?
In front of your eyes.
In front of my eyes. Now granted, I've seen it happen many times for
Yeah.
other positions, but now being the person that's in that seat. And the comfort in it is, well, I shifted first. You know, I made the move first. You didn't shift for me. You didn't choose to shift for me. I chose. So that's the beauty of it. But in the scenario, you still get slapped in the face with the reality, like the show will go on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And as much as you quote unquote meant to the organization, we're good.
It goes right on.
Yeah.
Like, we're good. Like,
And it doesn't miss a beat.
at all, bro. They have processes in place. Nothing that you did, and they may stumble for a little bit, but most businesses they weathered the storms, bro. Like, they figured it. If it's a well-oiled machine, they figured out that okay, if we have a all-star talent leave, we just gonna go in and most people have an all-star talent within that they can just promote up. If they don't, they're just going to recruit an all-star talent to take your place.
Right.
So it's like they're not worried about somebody leaving. Like, they already got a system in place to replace you or find the next best thing.
But then not only that, you got to realize that's the purpose of your job. What I mean by that is, because similar to Mo, I was in the transition phase as well, but I built such a great leadership team that reported up to me in case I can't come back tomorrow.
Right.
So, it's kind of this, yes, you might have been an all-star, but you also built an all-star team.
Yeah.
So that if you do step out, it's
The ship keeps rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that's also the other part of leadership that I tell people, you got to be comfortable with yourself and knowing that you can do whatever you are. You might be an all-star, but the final stage of leadership is knowing that when to leave so that somebody else can have that opportunity.
Correct.
Me and wife was having that conversation, but we was talking about like pastors.
But it's the same. It's the same.
It is the
principle,
same thing, but like just like bro, people want a pastor like
Forever,
bro, forever, and like not knowing when to be in a leadership position, be in a mentoring position.
Yup.
You know, because I understand, like, you know, if you have like a small, medium sized church, it might require you to be there, but you got to have somebody who can take your place, that you're teaching and cultivating to take your place.
Preparing your replacement.
Preparing your replacement.
That's the key.
Yeah, but it's like, bro, when you see, man, these pastors like be 65 years old on the pulpit, bro, like just like out of touch,
Riding that thing out.
riding it out, bro, like.
They should be advising at that stage.
Yes. Yeah, almost like a consultant.
Yeah, realistic.
You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Seriously.
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. But all right, so we you know, Father's Day, we got our dream Father's Day, and we even tackled that in and pivoted and started speaking on like just financials and pivoting in corporate America and when to pivot, all that. Let's get into, you know, Juneteenth, because we in corporate America, and there was a federal holiday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Federal holiday. And you know, I dropped in the group chat, like, keep it blunt. Hey, bro, educate a Caucasian person today. And if you can, put them to work. I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, that's, hey, man.
I read that, man. I was like,
That had me rolling.
never
That had me
lied.
rolling.
No, man, that's just, it's so real, bro, because, and I say this tongue in cheek, but like I'm being very serious too. Bro, we know so much of their history. No, excuse me, correction. We have to know so much of their history. Required to know all of it. And the minute we have something that we can call our own, it's like, no, you put it in their face. Let them know exactly what it is, bro. Like, my example was, I had a repair guy, and he called me. He was like, yeah, man, I'm free today. It was like, yeah, nobody, like, you know, everybody off for some reason. I was like, yeah, it's Juneteenth.
For some reason.
I said, yeah, it's Juneteenth. He was like, what's Juneteenth? I was like, well, you know, I gave him the spill. I was like, you know, June 19th, 1865, Galveston, Texas, like, you know, the slaves, it was the end. Like, they found out finally, like, no, bro, y'all been free for a minute, but like.
Right. But y'all wouldn't want to let us know because
Yeah.
y'all still wanted us.
Yeah. So I gave him the rundown.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man, cool. I was like, so it's a federal holiday? He was like, yeah. I was like, I don't recall. I think it was either last year or the year before
Last year.
that it became a federal holiday. He was like, all right, cool. And you know, he's a country white boy. No, you know, it's no ill will, but he just like, no, I ain't, you know. Then he went and talking like, well, you know who did who freed the slaves? I was like the Emancipation Proclamation, yeah. Abraham Lincoln. He was like, well, you know, did you know what party he was? I was like, yeah, he's Republican, but back then, like, Republican was kind of like Democrat, and Democrats were kind of like Republican. No, I was like, no, bro, this ain't the time. Like, I'm not one of those.
It's not a conversation.
I'm trying to educate you on what's going on now. Like, but I need you to repair this real quick. So, like, yeah, beat me down here in Peachtree City. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Come get to work.
Come get to work. Yeah, bro. But it was, you know, I just think it's real, bro. Like, we have to get into a place of educating when we have an opportunity, because we got to be very careful, because I already seeing it. Juneteenth is really about to become like, they're gonna water it down, and they gonna make it about them.
Well, to be frank, it's more than Juneteenth. Like, with this critical race theory.
Oh, bro.
From the standpoint of literally rewriting / erasing history because you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, bro.
And now we have to fight for truth to be even shared from the classroom that our children are growing up in.
I think let's go back to a conversation that we had on one of the podcasts before, where, you know, here in America, we have a hard time accepting that racism is real because we made progress, right? And we're not saying that we haven't made progress, but until we're open and honest to talk about that, there still are these biases that people have. There's still these uncomfortable moments that people have with somebody that's different from them. You know, until we're able to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and having these discussions, I think this is going to be continuous, because, you know, people don't want to look at, I'm just using this as an example, not saying that, but I don't want to hear about my grandfather was a slave owner. But was your grandfather?
Correct. But exactly. You tell the rest of your family history.
Right.
Yeah.
we're not saying that you're bad,
Right.
but you still have to state the facts.
Correct.
And you know, and be comfortable with, okay, that was the past. We have moved on, blah blah blah. But you know, you still have to accept the fact that these things happen, and that there are still pockets of swaths of the American culture that still have a lot of this.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, to your point, and very similar to what you're saying, you know, one of our heroes of the day, Brian Stevenson, who is the founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, you know, an incredible lawyer, an incredible advocate for, you know, in terms of injustice and, you know, people who go through mass incarceration at high alarming rates, mind you, us, black men mainly, but people of color, and he fights against that. But he states it in a very similar way, but he basically says that one of the key things that are holding America back is the fact that we have not addressed our history. We've not openly, outwardly stated the facts of what our history was, dealt with it as a nation, apologize for it, and move past it, or begin to take the steps past it. It's always a debate. It's always a you know, a nip and tuck, or, you know, a pull and
Because you get
tug.
to the spiritual link into it, because you know, in spirituality, you have to forgive, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But you can't forgive until you're open and honest
Yes.
about what has happened, so that you can forgive and heal and move forward. And to your point, it's just like people want to sweep it under the rug. Oh, that spot we don't want to see, and keep moving. But no, at some point you're going to have to open that wound up so it can heal.
Correct.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. Like, in order to do that, there has to be the admission of fault.
It starts there.
And they ain't gonna admit that, because I'm saying from very practical, like a business standpoint. And you're a lawyer. As soon as you admit fault, what happens?
Liability comes your way.
Right?
Yep.
And so if I don't admit fault, then I don't have to worry about them liabilities.
Right.
Because as soon as you admit that this country was built off of slavery, like really admit it,
You got
now
something to face.
now you got something to face. And if you got something to face, now you got to go all the way back, and then you got to look at, well, yeah, forget the 40 acres and a mule. Like that's like the big thing that everybody talk about. But no, we're talking about redlining. Like, bro, like, generations of your family are doing well because you guys hid knowledge from us. Plain and simple. Intentionally. Hid information.
Strategically.
Hid information. I mean, dog, we're talking about like white families buying suburban homes for $12,000 in neighborhoods that they already knew the plans for. That's the part, bro. Like, they knew the plans. In 30 years, this is gonna be Midtown. You feel me? Like, we already know this is in the planning. We know the zoning, all of this stuff. We already know it. We're just gonna buy this $12,000 crib here that now today, $3.5 million.
Still happening today.
Oh yeah,
Still happening today.
But I'm just saying, like, bro, I think we're gonna have a hard time getting them to admit those things, because, like Tori said, once you admit fault, then the liability come
The
in.
reason why they're having a hard time to admit it is because it's the foundation of the things that they benefit from.
Yeah, 100%.
So in admitting it uproots their entire framework of how literally lineages of people have benefited on our backs.
Yeah.
So how do you get a person who is living the ideal scenario to forfeit it for the sake of someone else?
If we had the answer, I think all things would be
Exactly. That's literally.
I think that's the perfect ending point, Mo. Mm-hmm. I need y'all to answer that question. If you have the answer to that, shoot us a DM, hit us in the comments. We want to know. Like, I'm dumbfounded on the answer. Like, what is your solution? You know what I mean? And I think it's a good space to. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it opens up dialogue, right? So, what do you think you feel would be the next step to really get accountability for what's been done in this country, bro? Because I'm still stuck on 40 hours, bro. That 40. No, did you say not 40 hours? You said 40 days. I'm stuck on 40 days. Right. That is, bruh. A whole month and a half of us just like hustling, bustling. Yeah. And to add on that layer, we are hustling and bustling to like try to be where they at
To catch up.
to catch up.
In a framework and in a system that is
That's crazy.
not built for any of us to
Yeah.
succeed in that route.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Black Men Think podcast.
Happy
If y'all
Father's
want,
Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day, happy
Absolutely.
Juneteenth.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If y'all want more content like that you heard tonight, make sure y'all subscribe to our Patreon. It is bonus content. It is content from all of us. Sometimes we'll have things that are individual chats. We're going to do some unique things on our Patreon. If you want to become a part of our family, we call them thinkers, as Mo said earlier. Hit the link down in our bio. It's also in the show description, and join our Patreon family. And, you know, help us out so we can help y'all out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely,
Scratch
man.
our back, we'll scratch yours.
There you go. There you go. So, hey, think or think.
Do we do?
He don't. You ain't been on that.
Ain't been.
Don't try to be like everyone else.
Just be you. Black Man Think podcast. We'll see y'all next week.
The Black Men Think podcast.